the artwork would be up for a short period of time, maybe a month, maybe a few months, and then it'd be pulled to pieces and it's recycled or thrown away. And so it was quite a challenge for me to make that move into making permanent things. And the very first piece I did was polished stainless steel, which can last for something like 40,000 years or something.
Oh, that's nothing.
And I had to take into consideration all these things of the drunken group of the football team, drunk, climbing up on top of it. And so it really did dictate the sort of work that I started doing.
It's funny, isn't it? You go into a gallery, we're all so careful not to touch anything, but put something in public, it has to be able to withstand children, me, when I'm drunk. I'm one of those 10 footballers. Just kidding. Richard?
I think we can't forget that the strongest material is actually the idea. So still my favourite artworks are Eve Klein, The Leap Into the Void, just the fact that it happened. Or for Sydney, After Stace writing Eternity on the Pavement. So everything's ephemeral. People, we don't get paid enough usually in commissions to make things permanent. Occasionally we do. It's usually a fight. There are budgetary constraints. But you must never lose sight of the fact that in the memory these monuments exist in a world where everything's ephemeral. And so the idea, is the first thing. But yeah, so then the materiality, it's very easy to make things seem semi-permanent. Like I favour stainless steel now, like Warren. But if it lives too long, people are going to throw it down and they're going to take it down anyway. So I like to think of still that conceptual strength as well as the material.
Thank you. Your question?
Yes, I wanted to ask the panel, but maybe specifically Richard, about your comments on Richard Serra's piece.
Yes.
You come from architecture to art, I come from urban design to art, and the reason why that case is so is the number of people that hated it. And I love your expression of the way public art should be extending the use of the public space. But with that particular piece, its infamy is because it took sunlight away from the people's circulation space. It interrupted the way people could move and use the space, and it was hated because it was such an imposition in the way people circulated and needed to use the space. So I just wanted to get yours or someone else's comments on that. Yeah. But I just wanted to also say, I loved what you said about using art to extend the public space, and I love an example of what you do.
Yes, we need to do that. Yeah, well, we agree on that, and we totally disagree on Sarah. The fact is that taking the sunlight away is a Fairfield was 3 meters high. I think it probably acted better in the summer in New York. Having lived in New York, to sit in the shade of that thing would have been quite good. The fact is that people gave in too quickly. If people hate something so vehemently that is done by such an important artist, something must be happening. You simply have to wait. If that had stayed there, it would now be visited, lauded and loved. So when you take the responsibility to give back to the community works from leading artists in their public space, you've got to be prepared to give that work time so that you can catch up with it. I mean, the artist is always, it's a cliche but it's true, there always has been an avant-garde. And the conductor's beat is half a beat above before the orchestra. And so that time space is imperative. A lot of people now writing these horrendous briefs say, and it'll be taken down in 10 years. Why 10 years? I mean, we're all going to be dead anyway, and the world's going to be, we're going to collapse into climate change or something. Ephemerality is misunderstood and misread. We must, I think that the best artists don't condescend to the public. Just like the great musicians don't either. In the end, they bring the community thinking up with them. If you give people their ignorance back to them, then you are actually a criminal. And that's what Tony Abbott does. In response to that question, do we have to wrap up? Oh, we have to wrap up. Oh, do you want
wants to quickly respond to that question? Suzie, Andy, Pamela, Wendy? Oh, look at that. One more question then from the audience. Thank you very much, sir.
Have we had too much public art? We see
Oh, good question.
now with the development applications, approvals and conditioning public art must go on this side. General question to the panel, is anybody?
Is that okay? I don't know if I'm going to give the answer. It's really representation of this panel. But this is how I feel about public art. And your question is that I would like you to think about presently who's occupying that public space, who's actually creating the images for that public space, what people are actually visually consuming. Because I've also worked on the other side. Like I've actually worked for commercial industry, doing work for billboards and things like that, and advertising and stuff like that. And I think public art's fantastic. Sorry, I mean when we're given an opportunity to do something that may in some way inspire or represent the people who always occupy that space rather than having a commercial intention to try to sell something to them, I think that the more opportunity that we have to do that, in some way I think the more integrity our public space will have. So I welcome more.
Why don't you just attack the giant M's? I mean, if you're only credible saying there's too much public art if you've worked on getting rid of all those bloody yellow M's.
What?
Oh, I just thought perhaps we need to look at a broader sort of notion of public art, perhaps, and increasingly see it actually integrated more into the architecture, which I guess presupposes sympathetic architects, and that may be a mutually exclusive term when it comes to public art. But I think maybe the standalone object, yes, perhaps there could be too much of that, but I can see a broadening of the whole definition of public art so that it really becomes part of that built environment.
Never too much.
There's never, well, it depends
But are
maybe.
there
Now
spaces spaces that don't need public art? Would putting a piece of art in certain spaces perhaps devalue the space, detract it?
I think we can have as much art as possible. I'm going to have one last word. Forget this idea. Okay, we have to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. I firstly wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming tonight. But can I just maybe hear from each of our panellists as I wrap up? I'm trying to think of a great question, but it might just simply be: can you name your favourite public artwork? And it doesn't have to be your own. So just a quick list, okay? And then we can continue the conversation afterwards. So Loretta, your favourite public artwork? Just choose one. Anyone?
Anish Kapoor's work, I'm put on the spot.
All of Anish Kapoor's public artwork.
All of his.
Great, okay. Great enough. Fong?
Noguchi's art.
Very good. Wendy?
I don't know the name of the artist, but there's a piece in Barcelona on the beach, quite close to the water, and it looks a bit like a rusted, like a building.
That's the one?
Yes.
In Barcelona.
And you'd never be allowed to do it in Australia.
That's bloody health and safety, DA's approvals. Thank you very much, Wendy. Suzie?
Well, mine's actually the Chee building in Canberra, which is a new urban development where the building has art in it, on it, stuck to it. The whole building is about art, and it's completely successful and exciting environment to be in.
Sounds good. Andy, sorry.
I would say the City of London has the 4th Plinth project, which has been going since 1998, and it's that idea that a work of art is commissioned from a whole range of artists to make a work for the 4th of 4 plinths in Trafalgar Square, so that the public who love it, who love this idea of provocative and challenging and changing artworks, are able to see something new happening
Each time.
in an ongoing program.
It's
that's
amazing.
been going on year after year.
Maybe we need to get that here. Pamela?
I've seen public art, but the yellow peril work.
Oh, yeah.
It's around Melbourne.
Ron Robinson's Swan called Vault? That one, okay, beautiful work. I love it. I love that one. So, Richard?
And my favourite's Joseph Boy's 7,000 Oaks, 7,000 Stones. So for the documenter Germany Castle 1967, they asked him to do something. He asked for 7,000 oak trees, 7,000 granite stones from the area, and now they're on, and he said put one on every intersection in Castle, which is a pretty terrible rebuild, and it now defines the city.
Perfect. And Warren, Langley, to wrap up?
Probably anything by Richard Serra. It's hard to go beyond that extraordinary sense of depth and monumentality in those works, and just the simplicity of them. They're beautiful works.
Perfect. And mine are all the bulls in Rockhampton. I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please thank our very large and wonderful panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, panel and Fenella. That was great. I was just, we should have had one for the public art officers to tell the real truth behind the truth. But anyway, it was really great. Please go downstairs, enjoy the opening. We're now having a bit of performance art from our council procedures, and then you can tackle the artists or not when you go down for further discussions. That'd be great. Please go downstairs, back to the gallery. So you go down there, round the corner, down the stairs, back into the box office, around there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you too.